You were saying if the NDP have allegations to make against Mr. Kinsella, they should make them to the proper authorities.
Yeah.
But as you know, one of the proper authorities is the lobbyist registrar, who's effectively his work is ground to a halt for lack of a new act. When are we going to see that act?
Well, we're working on the act. I can assure you there will be a new act. We've said over and over again that the present act, which was brought into effect in 2002, is inadequate. It's far outlived its usefulness. And you know, I've seen one draft of it, and it's gone back to the drafters, and we're working on it.
Well, we get anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of weeks to see.
Well, I can't. I'd like to give you an estimate, but I can't tell you exactly when it will be. But we're committed to doing it.
It's not exactly on the fast track.
This spring, then?
Sorry?
It's not exactly on the fast track, is it? I mean, we've been hearing you say this almost as long as you've been in Victoria.
Yeah, well, not quite, but look, I'd like to get the thing done too, but I don't control a lot of these things, and I'd like to get it. It's my legislation, and every minister likes to think his or her legislation deserves priority, and all I can tell you is that for me it is a commitment, and it's something that I want done, but I don't control the legislative calendar.
Will we see it this spring? Will we see it before?
I can't say, but I can tell you this, that I've seen one draft and it's gone back because we had to do more work on it. So
why are you referring the NDP to a broken lobbyist registry as the solution to this problem?
I don't understand the question.
Well, the NDP is saying that they have these allegations of unregistered lobbying.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you're saying that if they have allegations,
they
should take it to a broken lobbyist registrar.
It's not broken. It's inadequate. If there is a violation of the Act, you know, those violations can be addressed by reporting to the police. I know what the registrar said, and he's quite right that he doesn't have the power or the authority or the resources to enforce the Act. That much I think is accurate and beyond dispute. But there are still ways to enforce the Act.
But you know very well that the police have said that they can't investigate these allegations because they took place 2007 and prior.
That may be so, but the fact is, and you know, we have statutory limitations on a lot of different laws and a lot of different acts. The question then we have to ask ourselves is, should we have a 6-month limitation period? When this act was enacted in 2002, at that time, the thinking was that there should be that limitation period. Now, I don't know if that's adequate or not. Clearly, in this circumstances of this case, it isn't. But you know, then you run into the situation about retroactivity. You cannot have legislation retrospective if it has some kind of punitive repercussions to it, or quasi-punitive.
Last question.
So what I'm trying to understand then is that if the police can't take a look, and the lobbyist register can't take a look, who are the NDP supposed to talk to?
Well, if the NDP had been diligent, they would have done it within the statutory period of time. I mean, you could say that I can tell you the same thing about any number of acts where the legislation has a limitation period, and the violation has not been found during the course of the limitation period, then obviously the aggrieved party or the complaining party is out of luck. There are reasons, as I said a moment ago, as to why we have limitation period. So
thanks, everybody.
Mr. Oppal, can I NDP's fault?
It's not the NDP. No, look, it's not the NDP's fault, but it's. I don't know if I can blame anybody for it, but the fact is, there's a law there that says there's a limitation period to it, and if no violation takes place during that period of time, then there's no violation of the Act. I mean, you know, there's a larger philosophical question, and that is that should we have a limitation period in any of these acts? We don't have limitation periods for criminal code offenses, but we do have unless they're summary conviction offenses, but we have limitation periods for most provincial statute.
What's the limitation? Isn't the allegation that he's lobbying without being registered? I don't understand the limitation that you're referring to.
Well,
the meetings took place in 2007 or prior.
Mr. Oppal, I'm just not clear on that. You said that
you're not holding up the bill, you'd like to see it, so who or what is holding up the bill?
I didn't quite put it that way, Lindsay. What I said was that that there's been a draft of the bill. It's sent back to the drafters for further work. I would like to see it back soon. I don't have it yet. That's all I can say.
Thanks, everybody.
If the register can't investigate and the police can't investigate, you could technically call a public inquiry to determine the answer to this question.
Public inquiries take on a life of their own. And I'm not in favor of calling for a public inquiry unless there's a very compelling reason in policy or there's a public interest demands it. I can give you two examples, the last two that you've seen, where we did call public inquiries. The Frank Paul case was one, and the Chikansky case is the other, where we did call. But I don't place the gravity here. I don't think this is a serious enough issue, at least for what I've been told, that it warrants a public inquiry.
Thank you. The minister has a meeting.
There's a lot of curiosity here, and if someone can show me that there's a huge public interest involved here, then obviously we would think about holding a public inquiry.
Why haven't you endeavored to find out? I mean, you said in there you don't know what the meetings are, and I mean, you're answering the questions on this. So why have you not endeavored to
because I'm not an investigator. That's not the role of the Attorney General. The fact is, violations take place. I'm the chief law officer of the province, not the chief law enforcement officer of the province. So if there's a violation that takes place, we each have roles. The police have the role to investigate. Our prosecutors then have the role and the duty to prosecute, providing the standards have been met.
Your answer is that it's before the courts, but you don't. I mean, you haven't looked at it to find out if there's anything with it.
No. What I said was that it is. Most of these issues arise out of the BC Rail dispute because they've linked it to the BC Rail dispute. I don't know if some of these questions are, but the fact is they themselves have linked it to the BC Rail dispute. And so if that's the case, and as a matter of fact, Madam Justice Bennett referred to Mr. Kinsella a couple of weeks ago. So I have to be very careful before I start commenting on those things.